Today's question is, what does fit mean to me? And this one I have struggled with for a really long time because I've always wanted to look healthy, right? But I've also always felt like I've looked big. So mentally, on the inside, if I look at myself, I see myself as a different version, as if I'm looking in the mirror, or if I look at pictures that someone has taken of me. A lot of times I look at pictures and I'm like, I don't even know who that person is. And when I think of myself in the future, I see a thinner version of me. And in reality, it's not much different than the body that I'm in now. I just don't see the stomach that I have. And I know that a lot of my stomach comes from having 5 kids. It's been stretched out 5 times. And I've always had a little extra stomach. And like under my belly button. Like it's always been there. And it's always been a bother to me. I always believed that I was fat as a kid because of it. I've always had really strong legs. I was a pitcher all throughout high school, and there were so many things. Like I move stuff. Anytime I do anything, rearranging wise, I use my legs. I push things with my legs. My legs have always been my strongest. My upper body, on the other hand, don't even ask. My my upper body strength is 0, which it'll get better as time goes on. But fit to me is being able to lift my children in an emergency situation. Fit is being able to walk up our stairs without being winded. This last week, having walking pneumonia, I'd get to the top of those stairs and I was struggling for air. And it was a huge eye-opener for me because it's been a long time since I have had to deal with my asthma. Last year, when I was running, I felt the best I've ever felt in my life, and my lungs felt really good. And I did get sick once last year, but my asthma never kicked in. Usually my asthma kicks in. I know that I'm going to be sick because my asthma will kick in before I get sick. And that time it did not. This time I don't know what was different. I don't know if my immune system was low. I'm not sure. But this time the asthma took over and went on its merry way. But fit to me is not struggling with my asthma and being able to recover from sickness quicker than usual, being able to recover from workouts. I mean, I did a leg workout on a Monday and I was still hurting by Thursday because it's been so long since I've done a really good leg workout. To me, being able to recover means that, your body is used to working out more often than not. And so I feel like that is what fit is to me. Fit is wanting to eat healthy. I know now I eat smaller portions, but also I crave healthier foods. Like I crave salads and fruit and vegetables and like minimal meals. I know that like potatoes and we don't really get along. I feel really, really sluggish after I eat potatoes. So choosing not to eat them, like there's days where I'm like, we're just gonna eat the potatoes and we're just gonna deal with the consequences. Sometimes like my grandma, we make mashed potatoes for almost every meal at her store. And there are times where like I'll just take a spoonful of mashed potatoes and eat them. And I'm like, okay, I've had my serving of mashed potatoes. Like it satisfies it. Somewhere I saw something that someone said we only remember the first bite and the last bite. So if you have like a craving for something, take a bite, and be present while you're like eating that bite and be in the moment and like enjoy that bite to the fullest. And then take that second bite and do the same exact thing and then put it away. And that was really cool to me because I didn't, you don't think about it. When you're eating a snack that you want, you just start eating. And really, you don't remember those middle bites. Like, it's just not something, you're just eating it to be eating it. And then by that last bite, you're like, okay, this is the final bite. I'm one of those people, like, you save the best bite for last. You save the best food for last. So if you take something on my plate, it's probably because I'm waiting to eat it at the end. It's probably the best part of the meal. So don't touch it. But yeah, you remember the first bite and the last bite. So that's, that's one of those things that I'd love to implement into my routine. But I know that a lot of people look at the scale as a way to gauge whether they are fit or not. And I was talking, my husband, he is a huge supporter. I was weighing myself one day and I was like, if I could just get rid of my boobs and my butt, like that, that and my belly, that's what weighs the most on my body. He's like, yeah, if I could just get rid of my arms and my legs. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's like, it's a part of your body. Like, just because it weighs a certain amount doesn't mean anything. Like, it's just how much you weigh. Like, you put food on a scale and you're like, oh, yep, that's how much it weighs. You're not like, oh, that food is bad because it weighs this much, or that food is good because it weighs this much. Like, no. It's just, that's how much it weighs. And why we ever made, a number on a scale mean something about us is beyond me. I don't understand it. And I know, like, someone said that it's, what is it? When you step on a scale, that number is just the amount of gravitational pull that it takes to hold you down to the earth. And like, it takes a lot to keep me down to earth. And I know, you got to make light of situations like that, because looking at the number on the scale for me has been torture most of my life. And when I saw 251, I really I was like, yikes, that's a lot. You see these shows of like My 600-Pound Life, and I feel like those people, you don't realize how bad it gets until you're in a place to where you're like, oh, geez, I can't do this. I couldn't bend over to tie my shoes. I got winded walking up the stairs. There was a lot, and I have it documented in my notebook. I don't have it with me right now, but there was a lot that I was struggling with that I didn't realize, until I sat down with my doctor and was like, I have to do something. I have to take care of myself. And my weight was the biggest thing that, if she's like, if you change your weight, there will be a lot more that gets better for your life. And the day after Christmas was the day that I had decided to change everything. I was like, I'm done. Started walking. Christmas Day, walking in my room. I had a walking pad, started walking on that and walking as much as I possibly could. That's where I started. I was like, if I can walk, at least 10 minutes a day, I can get 1,000 steps in 10 minutes, going slow. Sometimes it's faster, but I was like, I have to start somewhere. And to me, in the long run, I don't want to be skinny. I would love to see what it's like to be at a lower weight. I don't know what I would look like at 150 and being, full grown, and as of right now, not choosing to eat completely clean. I don't know if that would even be possible for me. I'm not sure what's possible. I have never allowed myself to be that weight. So I've never allowed myself to see that weight either. So I don't even know what fit would look like physically. When I got down to 215, I felt great, and I was a totally different person. I dressed different. I carried myself different. I was so confident in myself. And there were people that were talking to me that I had never talked to before in my life. And I looked at my husband and I was like, am I different? And he looked at me and he was like, yeah, like, you are a totally different person. And you don't realize, as a bigger person, I have always hid myself. I'm constantly hiding, pulling my shirt down, wearing baggy clothes, and just trying to cover myself. I don't ever feel like I can show my body, but I mean, this is my body. Like, it's not a shame to have a human body. It's not. And I know I have heard opinions about heavier people from the people that are in my life, and I immediately take those on as opinions about me. I know whenever I was younger, short shorts was not a thing. We could not have, like, we had to do the arm test, you know, put your arms at your side, and if your shorts are shorter than your fingertips, you had to go change. Yeah, I didn't own a pair of shorts that were, like, not to my knees. If they were shorter than that, I had to go change. And so, as a kid, I grew up believing that short shorts were unacceptable for most people, really. It wasn't even heavy people. But then, you know, you'd see thicker girls out walking around with really short shorts, and, like, I mean, you can see, like, the underbutt, you know, like the butt cheek line, and I'm like, and it's an internal judgment. I know it now because I could hear the people in my life judging that person, and I'm like, for me, you know, after becoming aware of that, I had to reassess, like, how I view people in a lot of situations, because I'm like, do I really think that about this person? Or is this just something that someone else has said around me and I've accepted it as my own opinion? And that was huge. That was an eye-opener for me, because then, you know, if I saw someone in short shorts, I immediately accepted that opinion about me. And so if I wore short shorts, I was like, oh gosh, people are looking at me. They can see my butt. They can see my legs. Like, I was afraid to show my legs. And I mean, I have a human body. I have legs. That mindset was huge to change for me. Like, wearing a bikini. I wore a bikini for the first time last year, and I was scared. I was physically scared to go out in public in a bikini, because I didn't want people to see my belly, to see my, like, my chest, my legs, you know, anything. I had to cover as a kid, and it was huge for me to be able to wear a bikini out in public. I wore it to our local, like, we have a little lake that's not far from here, and I wore it out, and I was so scared of what other people were thinking, and I don't think a single person looked at me. Like, you know, you look around and you watch what other people are doing and saying, and, you know, I don't think I saw a single person look my way. And that was a huge breakthrough for me, because people really don't think about us as much as we think they're thinking about us. We are wrapped up in our own thoughts, and they are wrapped up in their own thoughts. And being able to wear that bikini out changed a lot for me. That was part of my confidence boost. And I know, like, this year might be a little different. I am a little bit heavier than I was last year, but also I have been lifting weights. So I'm hoping that, you know, the body recomp continues as I learn to lift heavier and stuff. And goodness, sorry. But I want to feel confident in my body. I want to look in the mirror. I want to be able to look at pictures and be like, yeah, I like that girl, you know. And that, to me, is being fit and having energy, having the ability to get up and go and, just do the things that I want to do with the kids. I want to be able to play basketball with them this year. Our youngest is now 5, and we're getting to where they're all really independent. So we'll be able to go places and go to the park, and I want to be able to do things at the park with them. I'd love to be able to ride bikes with them. We have a trail that's not too far from our house, and we could ride bikes. I got to get a bike first, but I feel like that kind of stuff would be so much fun, and I want to be able to do that stuff. That is why I do what I do. I just keep going because I want to continue to be able to participate with them, because nothing's worse than, like, having to sit on the side or being winded. I mean, with the little thing, we played basketball one day, and I didn't run around too much, but I was still pretty active and never really felt exhausted. And I felt like I could just keep going forever. But, you know, sometimes fun things have to end. But we just kept playing, and I look forward to doing that with them. And with having 5 of them, I mean, it's possible to do 3-on-3 with me playing as well. And I look forward to that too, as they all grow up and we get to do more things together, have more fun together, play more sports together. We can play baseball. The oldest likes to run, and that was fun. Like learning how to run with him last year. We both went out running, and there were times we were running the track at the school, and I was like, you don't stay with me. I told him, you go ahead, because he can run a heck of a lot better than I can. And I was like, you just go ahead and I'll just run at my pace and you run at your pace. So we started out and I was running pretty good for a little while, and he took off. He lapped me once, and I was running so much in my intervals that he was coming up on me. He was trying to pass me a second time within his mile, but he never did pass me that second time. But it's just fun having that little bit of competition with him. We did our first 5K last year, and that was a huge accomplishment for me. But him, I think he was 11. He was 11 when he did that. And for me, being 31, running my first 5K, and him being 11, running his first 5K, like running wasn't even an option when I was a kid. I struggled with asthma so bad that in PE, I was like, okay, I have to go get my inhaler. I don't know if it was because I didn't manage it. Looking back now as an adult, I'm like, what the heck? As someone who can run now, it's confusing to me, because I'm like, was I really that disabled, or was I using it as a crutch to be able to sit out, because other people couldn't sit out in PE, but I could easily, and I know, you don't fake breathing issues, but sometimes I wonder if I didn't over exaggerate when I was a kid so that I could sit, or so that I could go to the office, or, something. Because I know I struggled with attention when I was a kid. I always wanted attention. But, looking back, it's like, I feel like there's so much more I could have done. And I couldn't imagine at 11 running a 5K. So that, being able to witness that and being able to run that with him also, like our first 5K was at 11 and 31. And it's like, that was awesome. And I want to be an example for my kids, really. Having 5 boys, I feel like boys are more, I don't want to say more athletic than women, because that's not true, but there's more of like a societal, like, men have to be tough kind of thing. And I want them to be encouraged in a positive way, and not like, well, toughen up, like, you're weak if you're not lifting, or you're weak if you're not, you can't do this. I want to raise them in a positive way. And I want to be that positive figure for them, of like fueling our body and learning how to use our energy in a positive way. Because these boys have a lot of energy. I can't even, oh my gosh. They have a ton of energy, but I want to help them, learn to channel that energy into something that they want to do, and encourage them to do, team stuff together, work together, play together, do all that stuff. But I want to be able to be involved with that. And the only way that I can do that is if I am physically able, taking care of myself, fueling my own body, and learning how to use my muscles again, or my body again. Because I know there's a lot of things that I haven't done. I can't do a push-up. I can do a sissy push-up, I guess they call it, on your knees, but I'd love to be able to do an actual push-up. My oldest the other day, he said that he does like 200 sit-ups before he goes to bed. I'm like, that's a bit much. But I'm like, hey, whatever, if that's what you want to do, go for it. Take care of yourself, use your muscles, build your muscles. And they're all skinny because they came from a dad that has very, very high metabolism. I can feed them everything in the house in an entire day, and they still would be skin and bones. Everybody's like, do you feed your kids? I'm like, I do, way more than you would ever know. But their metabolism is so high that it just, and they're so busy that it's just gone. But what does success look like beyond weight? I feel like I summed that all up, but I just want to be able to eat healthy, move my body, lift heavy. I really want to be able to lift heavy. I want to look fit. I want to be toned and not have a lot of excess body fat. I want to get rid of the visceral fat. I know I have a lot of like internal fat that has been, you know, accumulating over the years, and I want to be able to tone that down and get my body fat down to minimal. I won't say I won't say 0. That's like really close to impossible, but as low as possible. If you've watched this far, I appreciate you. Thank you. I don't have any comments on the previous videos, so I don't have anybody to shout out yet, but if you've watched this far, the key phrase for this video is fit is a mindset. Make sure you drop it in the comments below, and I will shout out 3 people in the next video if there's comments on the next video, and I will see you on the next video.